All right, you're welcome back. It's TVC Breakfast this beautiful Friday morning, and we've been talking about the PDP, Lagos State PDP crisis, and wondering whether it is a fallout of what's happening at the federal level. But of course, we have a guest in the studio, Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse, Publicity Secretary of the PDP, and we've been trying to proffer ways forward, even as he's a factional publicity secretary of the PDP. We need to underscore that. Now, let's even look at the conflicting court judgments that have gone on, back and forth. Have this contributed to the crisis that we have both at the federal PDP and, of course, what you have going on in Lagos PDP right now?
One of the major problems plaguing Nigeria's development is the corruption of the judiciary. It is not only that judges personalize issues, but the government try to impose on, manipulate, sometimes blackmail the judiciary. And you see, this is the problem with the country, and sometimes the president is frustrated, he's not getting results and so on. But he must realize that if he himself has been involved in trying to manipulate and oppress the judiciary, blackmail the judiciary, you're not going to get any results. The corruption is going to go all over the place. And that's what we're having now. I think that why would one judge, one court say something, the next day another court says something else, and then going back and forth? If the court decides today that this group or that group is the right thing to go based on the Constitution, then that's what we will go with. If we keep going like this, we will never make progress. One of the worst things that can happen is to try to manipulate the rule of law. What is the law? That's why I said before, for instance, in our own case, if, and this can be verified, there was a special convention in 2014 and elections were held, and that is the case, then there's no need to keep going back and forth. Stick to the Constitution. And that's the point. Everything I say, notice, I give you numbers, facts, and I give you figures. Check them out.
Indeed. Now, as important as the role of the chairman of a party is, there seems to be too much, attention to the chairmanship of the party, of the PDP, whether it's at the federal or even Lagos State. What exactly is it about the chairman or the chairman's position that gives advantage, to that person, in such a way that does he get some kind of advantage? Maybe
you struck something there. Maybe the position of chairman is too powerful, too juicy. For instance, in the state, everything that comes from the federal in terms of developing the party, organizing elections, which includes a lot of monetary consideration, comes through the chairman. And that is why, in the case of Lagos, Chief Bodejo has always had the chairman selected, handpicked by him, so that the chairman reports to him. This is what we are fighting. Prince Kola Balogun, you must meet him if you haven't met him, is a man who tries to coordinate things in a democratic manner. We have a meeting, somebody says this, somebody says that. I say, look, let's decide here. I'm not going to decide for you. That's not the way Bodejo does it. This is the problem. The chairman should be independent of any leader. Look, you have 2 BOT members in Lagos State, 1 male, 1 female. You only hear of Chief Bodejo as if he's the only one. The other one, Mrs. Aduke Maina, is there. How can Bodejo say he is her leader? They are all leaders. We regard them as the same. The Constitution again gives the power, particularly with the new review by Ekweremadu, clearly that the chairman is the leader of the party in the state. So if the chairman is independent and is the leader, and he gets consultation and advice from the stakeholders who are elders, fine. So that Shashore, who was senior special advisor to Obasanjo, will not feel that Bode George is trying to impose on her. How can he be the leader of all of these people? You know, he is one of the leaders.
All right, now
so
in the
that's
face,
where the problem is.
Yeah, in the face of this conflict now,
Yes.
will you all try to seek court clarification as to who the authentic or a way of trying to merge the two, as the case may be? Because there seem to be, you talked about the conflict, the court's ruling, throwing up some confusion, as the case may be, from the conflicting judgments. Will you seek a court clarification of all of this before approaching INEC as we go along?
Well, this is where we are now, with this new judgment from the Abuja court, putting Sheriff back as the chairman of the party. So let's see how that goes. I'm sure that before the 17th of August, when we are supposed to have the convention, we will have a clarification, and then we will move forward from there.
All right, now, can you give us an insight into the fracas at the Lagos State Secretariat of the People's Democratic PDP last week, where there were allegations of hoodlums taking over the crisis there, and the state secretariat has been shut down.
You know, Otumba Segun Adewale suggested to us that we should not go to the secretariat, we should not use the secretariat, but that we now communicated to Chief Bode George that, look, let everybody stay away from the secretariat because it's a bone of contention. That's good enough. That's compromise. That's been neutral now. The next thing you know, Salvador says he's going to have a meeting there. And then people, members of the party heard that there's going to be a meeting, and all of them now start going. When you have that kind of breach, then whatever happens from there is your fault. You created the confusion.
All right, Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse, just hold on as we bring in Kemi Foladeyemo to tell us what's trending, what's going on as far as the issues at hand are concerned.
Really, it's heated online. Dr. Pearse would no doubt have to admit that the comment online, guys, I found it difficult to find a positive comment now. Almost all were negative, especially with the reports of the fracas you mentioned that Dr. Pearse was trying to respond to. Let's take you all through all the comments. Some of them though. Edmund Adekuro, Mobile Punch, is replying to Punch newspaper's report on this now, and he's generally advising that, because he's saying a house that's divided against itself cannot stand. The earlier they come together to confront their problems, the better. And the crisis within the Lagos PDP mirrors the current division at the national level. Of course, it all spills down to all the states, and we can see Lagos is a classic example. That's according to Aeritas. Now, more comments. Demola Olariwaju, also on Twitter, is saying the battle for the PDP, he's taking us way back now. The battle for the PDP ticket in Lagos was mainly between #Funsho Williams and Adesheye Ogunlewe, both formidable, with Obani Koro, who is the former Minister of State for Defense now, also behind. All these big names now that, of course, were instrumental in the setting up of Lagos, of PDP in Lagos State. And this is like one of the recent reports now following all the fracas, all the controversies in the Lagos PDP now with Lagos. This is from Vanguard, of course, Vanguard newspaper, saying Lagos PDP denies factionalization. This is according to Mr. Giwa, who is the factional general secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State is dismissing the factionalization of the party and calling on stakeholders to shun perceived impersonators, and is also indicting your side now, talking about Otumba Segun Adewale. Of course, now there is a response, which is our final response now, final review now. Mondayo 123 is saying, okay, he's mocking now that earlier stance. No faction, but police to arrest armed robbers in the party secretariat last week in the General Assembly. They laugh at all these Lagos Wayo politicians. I brought this out just for you to have an idea of no offense to you though, just for you to have an idea of all that's been said online. Many are saying all the people that have come on board now to douse the tensions there are not exactly, well, credit-worthy people now to douse the tensions in the Lagos PDP. So the question many are asking, though, has there been any attempt, Dr. Pearse, now for both sides? You represent Eruland, that's Dr. Otumba Adewale, and the other side. Now, has there been any attempt now to merge all your interests so that you can at least, you know, be united?
Well, in the first place, if the judge, who was regarded as the elder in the party, would call everybody together and try to make amends, perhaps we'll be making some progress. That should have happened long ago. It's not happened and still has not happened.
But it's interesting you say that if Bode George would call all parties involved, I mean, you said right here that Chief Bode George has lost relevance.
Sure,
really.
sure.
So
But
if he's lost relevance,
I'm saying that
what, you know, what role would it play if he actually called both parties?
It should have happened long ago.
Okay.
Not even have got to this point.
To this point.
And even now, in spite of everything I've said, he still has a record of achievement in the party, in the nation. He's still an elder. We can't take that away from him. But will he call a meeting after he has called these people names and insulted them? Maybe. Again, if that happens, then we are talking. 1. 2, don't forget, I told you that last Friday, Dr. Mimiko, Governor Fayoshe, Senator Buruji Kashamu came to Lagos and brought us together for peace talks, for reconciliation. We had a meeting, we had an agreement, we reconciled that we will compromise in spite of our belief that we have most of the members of the party and the major stakeholders on our side, that we are ready to take 40%. That's compromise. We're making progress. The problem is when people now, after that meeting, start parading themselves as the only ones. Now, have I ever said there's no faction? I agree. Even though I know that when we go back to election, we know that we will defeat anybody hands down. The other public secretary, I regard him as the former public secretary. If he says he's still public secretary, fine, in his faction.
All right.
To say now, this is part of the problem, I think they are the ones creating the problem. We reach an agreement, you go back on it. We say, look, don't talk for now. You go out and you start making noise. We say, look, we agreed to 60-40. You say, only if it is according to your own arrangement.
All right, Dr. Pearse, this is where we have to let...
Yeah, and we'll see how it all plays out, even as the local council rules are very near. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kemi. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, this issue is still ongoing, as the case may be, but viewers, we need to let you know as well, for the sake of fairness, that Publicity Secretary, the factional Publicity Secretary, Taufik Ghani, was in the studio but declined coming on set. Whatever reason, we wouldn't know that, but we need to let you know that, so you know that there were efforts to balance what we're trying to do here. Now, the local government elections are coming. It seems to be, from political watchers, if you watch the permutation, people are going to say, fine. It seems that is one of the things at stake at this time, before you even talk about 2019 elections, as the case may be.
Sure.
If this issue is not resolved before that time, how will it affect the performance of of your party at the polls?
When we had what I believe was very weak leadership under Chief Bode George, we were able to win about 20 council seats in the last exercise. You know that. We had about 7 or 8 chairmanship seats that were only overturned by the courts. We accepted the results because even though at the site, the polling site, PDP candidates were declared as chairman, they won, but we got to court. Some of it we won first round. When we went to appeal, we lost. So we know that we can win again. We also know that with the performance of this governor, this administration, you don't need any opposition. The opposition are the people. So if we go to election, we will win. Even with one hand tied behind our back, we will win elections in this state now. Just like if you had a federal government election now, national election, you know Buhari is out because of the performance to date.
Well, you wouldn't say that. The people have the ones to judge
yeah,
that.
Of course, I'm talking as a member of the community. I'm saying based on what is on ground now. Insecurity everywhere, the economy in shambles, the political situation upside down. They can't win any election, and so it's going to be in Lagos State. I said it before. If INEC registers the PDP under Otumba Segun Adewale, we have enough numbers, we have enough strength to win elections in this state, and we will win a great deal of the local government seats, including chairman.
That's
all
one.
right.
That's one. That's one. That's one
will
scenario.
Not happen again.
That's one
we will
scenario.
not allow them to steal our votes and steal our elections.
That's one scenario when you say if INEC registers.
Sure.
On the other hand, on another scenario where INEC does not register the Adewale faction, what plays
happens?
out?
Well, that means there will be only one party election in Lagos State. That is, APC will have a free hand. That will be illegal. That will be undemocratic. That would be totally unaccepted, because that will mean that you have disenfranchised a great majority of Lagosians. We will not allow that to happen.
Okay, now, but Moshood Salvador says his faction, his group, is actually ready to discuss with any aggrieved parties. What exactly is the state of mind of the Adewale faction when it comes to making peace and moving forward?
I've just said it. You know, you need...
Are you ready to make peace with Salvador himself to move, the party forward in the state?
Look, you need leaders to coordinate and organize your reconciliation. We've had that. And anytime we have it, we're ready to sit, as we did last Friday. The point is, will Salvador respect the agreement on the table? When we come back from the convention or whenever the situation is resolved at the national level, you will see that we will be ready. Either we accept the agreement brought by, the recommendation brought by the national to harmonize the two groups in whatever way they come with, or we go to election.
Okay, it's interesting.
That's what was said at the reconciliation.
It's interesting you just touched on.
But are they ready to go to election?
Good question.
If they're not, then you should not even be talking to them, because that is illegal. That means they are not democratic. That means they're not serious.
All right,
why we waste your time?
You just made reference to what's happening at the national level with Limodu Sheriff and, of course, Makarfi. This crisis between these two factions, what will it take to end it decisively? Apart from the courts actually, saying Alimodu Sheriff is a rightful chairman, or Makarfi, as the case may be.
Well, what it always takes to settle differences, if it's not imposed on you by the courts, is compromise. It's compromise. And staying with the agreement of the compromise. They've had meetings, the two groups, and I am sure that what is being promised and committed to Modu Sharif probably have not been met. You see, what happened was, in the first place, the last Congress in Port Harcourt, the last convention in Port Harcourt, was total irresponsible behavior on the part of the people who now agreed that when they go there, they were going to ratify the agreement of Sharif as the chairman because he was elected by National Working Committee and all the parties that be. How did he become chairman in the first place? And did you tell him that he is going to be chairman for 6 months? That was not the agreement. So when you go back on the agreement, then I regard you as the guilty party. That's what's happening in our party now. That's why I cannot fault Modu Sharif for fighting back. Say, look, we had an agreement. All of a sudden, you get to a place, now you turn against me because you're not happy with some of the things that you are saying about me, that I can be manipulated.
I'm sure Nigerians will be curious to know exactly the wordings of this agreement. What exactly were these agreements, if you can tell us some of them?
Well,
and
look,
where the other party, in this case McAfee, may have, breached.
How did Modu Sharif become chairman? The governors canvassed for him. They argued that now that we want to go on with the tenure of the Northeast, that we should now have an election. And it was through that process that Modu Sharif became chairman. So what has changed? That's the point.
So what changed that made the governors go back from supporting
now, you're not going to find this on any document. But what we heard was that when Modu Sharif was being supported by some people, it was because they thought, or he probably had given them the impression that he was going to run for for president. And they said, okay, if you are going to run for president, we'll support you, and I will be considered for vice president. That's what we heard. And when Modu Sharif became chairman, it seems that he started being open and opening it up and saying, look, let's consider other people and let's see how things happen. For instance, there was one complaint about Modu Sharif. They said he told the BOT that whenever they want to have meetings, they should let him know. Now, people say, is he going to dictate to the BOT? No. He's simply saying, if you want me as chairman to be there, and you know I should be there, if I'm not there, your meeting is not complete. I want to be there, but you have to give me notice. I'm a busy man doing the work that you've elected me to do. That created a problem because people don't want to obey orders. They don't want to go by rule of law. Anything that doesn't satisfy them, they want to go against it, and they would rather throw the baby out with the bathwater than settle differences. I think that people must learn to compromise, and people must learn to keep their promise, and they must learn that you cannot push the chairman around, as we have done in the past, to the detriment of our party.
Okay.
Let us have our differences now, by the way. Everybody's saying it's going to affect this, it's going to affect that. Look, this is 2016 middle. By the end of this year, first quarter of 2017, the PDP will be focused, reconstituted, and ready to provide an alternative to this government that is taking us downhill. The worst case in the history of Nigeria.
That's where we have to leave it. Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse, factional publicity secretary of the PDP in Lagos State.
Yeah,
thanks
so
so much.
Coming.